Oh, no, I lost you there. Okay. Hi, Ian. How are you?
Sandy, I'm doing awesome. More importantly, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. So
All right.
my name is Sandy Casella, and I am a realtor with Casella Homes Real Estate, and I go live every Thursday at 12 o'clock. And I talk to different people, realtors, trying to show basically the human side of realtors and what we actually do on a daily basis, a lot of that, and also highlighting small businesses and worthy causes. So when COVID first started, we had a lot of clients that had small businesses, and those small businesses were really hurting. So we decided we were going to start promoting some of the small businesses in our newsletters and on Facebook Lives. And that's kind of how all of this started. And then we also support a worthy cause with this, which is mental health. So every time we sell a house, we donate a portion of our commission to mental health awareness, which is really near and dear to my heart. So I'm also promoting other realtors who support worthy causes. And I'm super excited today because my good friend Ian Walterhouse has agreed to join me. Ian and I go back a few years. He is a realtor who sells homes in the Stouffville area and the surrounding areas there, and does a great job for his clients. And so Ian is supporting a really great worthy cause, and he's doing something really special this weekend. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So Ian, just maybe introduce yourself. We'll talk about your worthy cause in a minute, but just maybe introduce yourself and a little bit about where you sell and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Sandy. I'm very enthusiastic to be here. This is fantastic. Thanks, everybody. So I have been involved with real estate, I say, since I had hair. So it's been a while since I've been doing this gig. Started off as an investor, actually, first, before I actually went to get my license. But I do practice up in York region. So I am just north of Markham. So I do Markham, Stouffville, and I'm really close to the Durham line as well. So we'll go over to Pickering. We'll even go. It depends where my client wants to go and what my client's looking for. I will definitely go there for them. And as well as, we do work together. If I'm not able to get a client out your way, I would absolutely send a referral down to your way. And we've actually worked together like that in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always a lot of fun. So, you know what the nice part is about not having any hair, Ian? You're not sitting there going, does my hair look okay? Because that's like totally me most of the time. Like, all I can see is my hair, and then I have to be like, get over yourself, Sandy. Don't even, why are you looking at yourself? Nobody cares. So anyway, that's the part. But I do really want to talk about what you're doing this weekend. So Tell us a little bit about this charity, maybe why you support it. Well, we can get into that in a minute, but tell us what you're doing first of all.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's actually going to be starting this evening. So the organization, we'll talk about the organization real quick. The name of the organization is called 360 Kids, 360 KIDS, 360 Kids. So the actually event is called the 360 Experience. And I'll even put on my hat. You can't see the hair that I don't have. So it's the 360 Experience.
Oh, awesome. Okay, love it.
And what happens is we are going to be going out with the youth on the street this evening to meet with them and actually experience what the youth experience and sleep on the street. So I think it's going to be about a balmy minus 15 tonight. So it's going to be a cold one. So we'll be out there on the streets, meeting the kids and seeing exactly how they live. So this is my third year doing it, and it is quite eye-opening on what they experience. But the beautiful thing about it is how resourceful they are and what they do. So one year ended up with some of the kids. We actually stayed in a little Bank of Montreal vestibule where you go in where the cash machines are. Slept in there for the night. Abandoned houses. We were across from a big development that was going up. And there was a bunch of houses that were there, and kids had set up in there, like 4 or 5 kids per house. There's no running water, no electricity, and actually had tents set up in the house. So we spent the night with them there, and also go around to the shelters that are available, but just to see how many beds aren't really available and how hard it is to get to these locations, especially if it's later at night. Public transit isn't running anymore. You may go up to a place up in Keswick that does have beds, but if you get there and there's no room, then you get turned away. How are you going to get back? Where are you going to spend the night? So very eye-opening. So that's the actual thing that we're going to be doing, is being out there with the youth tonight.
Okay. So is this like, well, I know it's pre-planned, but do the youth know it's pre-planned, or do you just go out there and you're like, and you just come across people? Is that what happens?
Yeah, so there's twofold. The beauty about this is that we are working with the organization 360 Kids, and we can go into some of the programs that they do have available. But we will go out with youth that are currently utilizing 360 services.
Okay.
So we'll meet tonight, and they will lead us around and show us what they're doing. And through that, like I said, that house that was an abandoned house where they had the tent set up, then we'll meet other kids that are out there. So the kids that are sleeping on the streets, they may utilize 360 services as far as they might go and grab some food, or that they might get a meal, or if they're trying to do post-secondary education, that they might drop in at the drop-in center. But still, at the end of the night, they don't have anywhere to necessarily be if all the beds are filled up. So both. So we'll be led by the kids that are utilizing the services, and we will be meeting other kids in the street. So what happens is they actually give us, the organizers will give us an envelope, open the envelope, and it'll give you a scenario. So you're a 17-year-old boy or youth, and perhaps a single mom brings in a boyfriend doesn't like the son, they get in a fight, he gets kicked out. So now you're kicked out for the night. You literally have $5. Go survive for the night. Figure that out.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah, that's incredible. So yeah, I don't even know what to say to that, but because it's shocking, right? Like we don't realize that's actually happening. And you're right. Like when you think about being in some of those areas, like if you're downtown Toronto, that's one thing, but you're out in some of these more remote areas. How are you getting around? I mean, you're not flagging down an Uber. So, right?
And you may not have the money for
right.
Uber. And one of the things too, when we talk about living on the streets, people, how can I word this? They have a preconceived image of whether these kids, so either they're druggies, or they want to be on the street, or they're bad kids. And that is, Sandy, as you well know, that is not happening whatsoever. We can touch on my story a little bit as we move on. But these are kids that don't ask to be in these situations. So we do see that scenario where it might be a single parent and they bring in a boyfriend or girlfriend, and they just don't get along with the kid. That might happen. There's certainly kids that have parents that might have issues around substance abuse. You spoke to it earlier, mental wellness. You just never know what's going on there. So and this was my situation, there are kids in school that are in school trying to learn, but when that bell rings and they leave and you think they're walking home, they're not walking home. They're trying to find a place to be that night, or they might be couch surfing, right? They're just staying at people's houses, or they're staying in garages, or they're living down on the basement. You never know what's going on. So that typical, oh my gosh, I'm seeing this kid on the street, he wants to be here, she wants to be there. That's not what's happening at all.
Yeah. And that's really scary. So, I mean, it's really scary to think that these kids are going to school and then leaving school, and nobody really knows that they don't have a place to go, which is really kind of shocking. So 360 Kids, what does 360 Kids do? What do they supply? I'm assuming that they support like youth.
Yeah. So 360 Kids, the organization, the reason it's named 360 degrees, they like to give holistic help. I'll just read a little bit from their website. So 360 Kids now serves over 3,500 youth each year from every municipality. So this is York based, but we do have kids obviously that come up from Toronto, and we have kids that come over from Durham as well. So 3,500 youth, this number has grown significantly since our move to the Richmond Hill hub. So we're right on Yonge Street, so it's very accessible. Operating the youth hub and offering even more essential services to youth. Our staff represent many cultures and experiences and earned a reputation as leaders in offering high quality, innovative programming. So this particular organization was named by Maclean's as well as one of the top 10 charities in Canada. Their mission, quickly right off their website, the mission is to help youth overcome crisis and transition to a state of safety and stability. And our vision is every kid has access to a safe home. So going back to school, how are kids going to be able to succeed at school when either they haven't slept or they haven't slept well the night before? And who knows when the last time they ate?
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I think, we see kids who are in school, and this is kind of what I would see, is that falling through the cracks where,
Yep.
this kid is now just labeled as a bad kid, and every
Yep.
kind of, and I don't want to say it about all teachers. Like, I'm sure there are some people that this gets picked up on, but they get labeled as this bad kid. And now they're looked at as this bad kid. So they're treated like a bad kid. They reply like a bad kid. And it just goes on and on. And nobody stops to say, like, what happened? Like, what's going on? Right?
What
Like,
is going on?
right. Like the anger, maybe, and I'm just putting a scenario out there, like someone who's angry or someone who's, causing issues. That's what they project. But what's the underlying issue here? Right?
Yep. Yep.
Right. So I think that's really eye-opening for me. I never even thought of that. Like, honestly, never even thought of that. But you want to talk a little bit about why you support, and I'll let you,
Yeah.
say as much as you want, but why do you support 360 Kids? Because I know it's important to you.
I just want to go back a little bit to what you said on 2 points, actually, in regards to like what is going on, what's the underlying factor. And I once had this sales manager, we were talking about in a rescue situation. So why are we all applauding ourselves and patting ourselves on the back for running into the river and pulling people out and saving their lives? Why isn't somebody running up the river and find out who's throwing them in? That's the problem, right? Why are we looking at this?
Yes.
So let's look at the underlying problems if we can, or issues. And the second that you said was in regards to, and Sandy and I are both members of this wonderful organization called the Wake Up Call, and around mindset. And it is that cycle. It's what we call TFAR: thoughts, feelings, actions, results. So as the teacher, if you're teaching someone, you're thinking that this person is a bad kid or they don't want to be there. Well, that's the feeling you have around them. And then maybe you don't teach them well, you take that action. And then the result is they have bad grades. And that just cycles out of control. And then the kid gets bad grades, and then they look back, well, I got bad grades, I must be a bad student, I can't do well. Thoughts, feelings, action, results. It just keeps going around and around. It's just a crazy cycle. So where we'd be able to step in with 360 Kids is find out, okay, what is that underlying issue? You are awesome. You are God's highest form of creation. You're a wonderful kid. You just got in a bad situation.
Yeah.
You're not a bad kid. The situation's bad. Let's work with the situation. So why it's so near and dear to my heart, it was organizations like this that helped me out as a youth. I would be termed one of these kids that we would call a youth at risk. And again, great kid, bad situation. So in the situation where I was, there was domestic abuse, there was substance abuse, and there was mental illness. So combined, I think my parents were doing the best they could, but sometimes they just weren't there. So then what am I to do? I'm 14, 15 years old, living on my own, not knowing what's going on. So we won't go into too much detail on that, except that I experienced it. And if I have the opportunity to do something different, then that's why I'm here. I'm here to create that difference and be part of it. Any way I can. And as you know, if we've got the means to give, then we should give. Again, a friend of ours, Todd, always says, the size of the hole that you give through is the size of the hole you receive through. So let's get out there and serve big.
100%. I agree. Yeah. And I think I always say, like, if you've gone through hell and you've come out the other side, then you have an obligation to go back and help other people come through as well. And I think that's a very big part of it. And that's what you've done. Like, obviously, I mean, you're probably like one of the most positive people I know. And one of the most, like, you're just so, like, everybody who meets you just loves you right away because of your personality and because of how far you've come. But I think people who you now would never believe, never understand how far you've come with that. So that's amazing. And this charity is just, I mean, I thought I knew a lot, but you just opened my eyes to a lot of things. And, with the mental health thing, I support mental health because I think that everything goes back to mental health. Everything leads back to mental health. A kid doesn't end up on the streets if there is not a mental health issue somewhere along the line. A woman, it does not put up with domestic abuse if there's not some mental health along the line somewhere, maybe not with that particular person, maybe in the environment they grew up in, but everything kind of leads back to that. So I wonder, like, how many of the kids that you come across have mental health issues, or is it more of maybe there's mental health issues at home that they can't deal with and things happen? So I don't even know if that's a fair question, but
yeah, I certainly wouldn't know the percentage. And this is going back to our friend Joe. When we talk about mental illness, sometimes we just give sympathy to bad thinking.
yeah,
And these kids might be labeled with some type of mental illness, but they just got caught in that cycle. Thoughts, feelings, actions, results. Let's back it up. Let's go upriver.
yeah.
What happened?
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
So
There's actually a really good book that that Oprah, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a really good book out that Oprah just had out that I read that's called What Happened to You. And it's fascinating along those lines. But I'm sorry I interrupted you. Keep going. So yeah.
No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things going back to Oprah. So maybe, these kids didn't have all the care that they may have needed to thrive because it's generational.
Yeah.
Their parents didn't have it. And then we can get into the whole discussion around paradigms. And one of the stories I love in regards to Oprah, when she was in The Color Purple, there was a scene where she was tucking a child into bed and she just couldn't get it. And the director is like, just tuck them into bed. And she just looked at him. She goes, nobody ever tucked me into bed.
Yeah.
I don't know how to tuck somebody into bed because I was never tucked into bed. Something just so simple.
Wow. That's incredible. I think it's it's kind of scary actually, but so the youth that they support would be, I guess, what age are they?
Yeah, great question. Thanks so much. So Sandy, age ranges are huge because of the programs that we have. So as young as 7 years old and as old as 26 years old with all the different programs. And there's stuff, Sandy, that happens out there. We have a couple, happen to be girls, that are in protection. They come from a culture where they have, I can't think of the name of it exactly. However, sacrificial murders of sorts, where we did have one where her brother was actually sent over from another country to kill her because she had gone against the family's wishes.
Honor killing?
Yeah, maybe that's, I don't know the term. It just bothers me. I didn't even know that existed. We also have another program. It's called the HOPE program. And this is in regards to human trafficking. People don't know there's a huge human trafficking issue that happens actually out of York region, and nobody would even know it exists.
Wow.
So we go into that, right into, we provide housing for kids. So as you mentioned, from every house that you transact on, a portion of that goes to a very worthy cause. So we do the same thing and we put it towards housing. So the kids do have a place, shelter-based. We can provide a bed and food and rent for them so that they can go to school. So when they leave school, they have a place to go back to. They don't have to start thinking, oh, I got to get my homework done and I have to survive tonight.
Yeah.
So that's program. So yeah, from 7 to 26. We also have this great program, transitional housing, where once kids get so old and then they get out of the system, so they can't be looked after 20 some years old within the Children's Aid Society. There's transitional housing where we deal with landowners, with property owners or investors and say, hey, can we put these youth in here? We will pay fair market rent. The children or the youth are going to pay us what they can pay. And then hopefully we get them educated, or they get themselves educated. They're educated, get themselves a job and get to the point where they can actually pay rent and maybe even be able to stay in that. So I love it for my investor clients. I'm like, hey, you guys want to do good. We can put these youth in here. They're going to thrive. You're getting fair market rent if anything were to happen to the house. And these kids are all vetted too. Like people are worried, oh, we're going to have kids off the street. They're going to be partying. This is not what's happening. These are youth that want to make a difference in their own lives, and they just need a little bit of a chance. So we're able to provide that for them as well.
That's great. That's great. We have we've put in the link here on Facebook, we've put a link to your fundraiser. And I know that you have like completely crushed your goal. Talking about our like 5 a.m. call and talking about mindset. And you had, tell me about that. I know you have a hard stop at 12:30 minutes, but you had And I really want to talk about this because this is so important, that like mindset, your mindset and what you think, you know, if you get an idea in your mind, you can accomplish it, because
Yep.
you wouldn't get that idea if you couldn't accomplish it. So
Yep.
you had, I guess, an idea of how much you wanted to raise,
Sure.
and then you were challenged to step that up.
Absolutely. In order to participate this evening in the event, they ask that you raise a minimum of $2,000. So in the past, my paradigm is at $2,500. I'll do $2,500. So this year I was challenged, hey, Ian, instead of raising $2,500, why don't you double it? And I'm like, why don't I not double it? 2,500 is good. I don't have to worry about that. So $5,000 seems like it is a lot of money with all the craziness that's happening in the world. Like, how am I going to raise $5,000? But I got to tell you, man, people really stepped up to the plate, and they want to be able to give, and they want to be able to help in the local communities. There's the Mother Teresa saying, one of my favorite quotes, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. So people are loving in our community and family. So I set it to 5,000. And again, Joe from the Wake Up Calls, you're going to smash it. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I bumped up against this thing, as we know, called the terror barrier. We're like, I'm not going to pull that off. Anyway, $5,000 is in the rearview mirror. We hit $5,000, and I put it out to the community. Hey, I hit $5,000. I still got 2 days of fundraising. Should I raise it? And everybody's like, yeah, bump it up. So I don't know. We're like $6,500 now or something. It's just out of control. So yeah. So amazing. I'm going to tear up here, Sandy. But very, very grateful for everybody's help out there. So that's what happened with that goal.
It's amazing. I haven't made a donation yet, but I will be doing that. I want to do this first. So if anyone wants to donate, you know what? If you want to donate, the link is here. And if you have another cause that you know, and you don't want to donate here, that's fine. But that doesn't offend me at all. Just share this for other people.
Yeah, just get the word out there.
This will touch somebody. And want them, you know, somebody who's experienced something like this, it will touch them maybe. And let's help these youth, because, you know, this is really important, right? Like sometimes you just need that person that inspires you, that will turn your whole life around, you know, as a youth, especially, because sometimes you feel like everybody's against you. If you have that one person that inspires you, and man, like, what an inspiration you are to so many people. Like it's just incredible. And the fact that you go out and give back to these kids, I'm sure is really inspiring for them. I love that. So we're going to see how much we can raise. Hopefully we can get a little bit more on there, and that would be amazing. So tell me, and this is why I want to do these Facebook Lives, like just to show like what realtors actually do, because this is, you know, there's a perception out there that we don't do very much and we make too much money and all that kind of stuff. You know, there's a lot of really great realtors. I mean, in every profession. So I'm not saying that there isn't in others, but there are a lot of really great realtors that are doing a lot of really great things. And I just want to get that side out to people to see that. And I think it's so important that people know, you know, what you do, because for me, I would always support a business that supports a worthy cause before all things being equal. I would always support them first. So I think it's great that, you know, people support you knowing that what you do.
On a selfish level, it feels good. It feels good to give, and then, you know, it's the paying the forward, and that happens. So you're talking about, you just never know who it's going to touch. Bob Proctor always said, you know what, people think they can't change the world, one person can't change the world. And he talks about, you know, one person changed my world. Maybe I can change your world. And I've had a few people that happened to within my life. And, you know, a bit about the story, but I dropped out of high school, ended up going back, and was able to go into university as a mature student. But when I went back to school, I ended up on student welfare to be able to go. And I had a teacher that somehow knew my situation and would actually provide me with groceries. So when I say that, you know, I'm giving back, I'm not giving back. I'm sharing. If real estate agents make a lot of money, then it's on us to share a lot. So let's just keep giving back. Now, we do run a program within the Walterhouse Realty Group. Our fellow realtors out there know on the rental side of things, there's a lot of work to do, and you don't get compensated as well as you would on a sale or a listing. However, we do work with single moms in order to find rental properties, either on MLS or not on MLS. Yeah, I'll go out there. I'll vet the location and help them if it's on Kijiji or Craigslist, wherever we might find out about a word of mouth. And that's a free service as well. We don't get compensated on that. We just want to get kids into a house, a place to call home.
Yes, and I know there's so much more to your story. We only have 5 more minutes, but
Sure.
He's just such an incredible guy, and your whole life is just like this, like crazy.
We call it the Forrest Gump life, right? It's unbelievable where I've ended up in some places.
Yeah, and I'm so honored. I'm so honored to be your friend. I know it's been a few years, and we've kind of crossed paths on a number of different things, and we have kind of similar backgrounds that we've talked about and stuff like that. So it's really interesting, but I think this is great. So I really hope that people will share this, share this video today, because Ian's starting this today. So tell me what today is going to look like for you now. You're leaving, and then where are you going? What do you do?
So tonight we'll be meeting in Newmarket. We usually meet at the hub, but tonight we're going to be meeting up in Richmond Hill. Tonight we're going to be meeting in Newmarket to kick it off at the municipal buildings out there. Then I'll get my little envelope and with my $5, and they'll kick me out and say survive. We'll see you until tomorrow morning. So I don't know where I'm going to end up tonight, Sandy. I don't know what's going to happen. I just wanted to mention quickly before we get off here.
I'm not in a hurry.
Oh, okay. I do, but that's all cool. So 360 Kids, absolutely love it. Was introduced through 360 Kids through my sister-in-law, Christine Walterhouse, if you're listening, who was awesome. She was on the board of directors there. At one of her birthday parties, I won't say it was the 50th, but it had a 5 and a 0 in it. She said, don't give me any gifts. Let's donate to 360 Kids. So that's how I was introduced to it. Our other charity of choice is Blue Door Shelters. Michael Braithwaite, if you're listening out there, I met him when he was a director at 360 Kids. He's now the CEO up at Blue Door Shelters, helping families up there. And then Sick Kids as well. So I've got a pretty cool motorcycle with a sidecar. So we take part in the ride for sick kids and kids with terminal diseases. We get them out there and have fun in the motorcycle. So that's another one we do. And then, of course, with Realtors Care, there's a motorcycle ride that we do with them. So I want to share one final story with you.
Please.
When people talk about realtors and they're just in it for the money. Happened to me last week. Single mom shows up, referral, and we're talking, and she wants to sell her house. But that's fantastic. Let's sell the house. Let's do. One of the big things when I'm selling the house is I want to know the story. Why are we selling? Or where are we going? How can we help you out? What's going to be happening? And when I mentioned to it, she started crying. And I'm like, okay, there's more to this story. This is just not somebody that wants to sell their house.
Yeah.
So they're like, I have to sell. And I said, okay, what's the situation? So I listened, right? I'm going up the river. What is going on? And she was told by somebody that she had to sell. She was also told by her bank that perhaps she needed to sell. She had more months left at the end of the money, and it wasn't a good situation. So I said, well, let's see if you do have to sell. So as a realtor, you list to last, you would want to be able to list this house. And she'll do quite well in the market today, obviously, the low inventory. And I said, maybe we don't have to. Are you comfortable with me asking you some very personal questions? And she said yes. And then we got the whiteboard, the famous whiteboard there at the back. We did a balance sheet, income sheet, and income statement. And we walked through everything. I said, yeah, you're definitely short at the end of the month. What's your debt structure like? So we looked at it. Anyway, she's working with my mortgage broker right now. We're able to restructure the debt. She's actually going to be ahead. There's going to be more money left at the end of the month, and she gets to save her house, and she gets to be there with her family. And she's not going to have to sell and then get in a rental and just keep taking that money and spending all that equity. So did I miss out on a sell? Absolutely, I did. And I'm happy that I did it, because now we got somebody in a really good spot. And the stories only get better. So I'm getting verklempt again when I talk about this stuff.
Well, you know what?
I'm a bit of a softie.
I know, but that story just doesn't surprise me at all, knowing you, because I know that's exactly what you would do, is try to figure out why are you selling? Like, and yeah, you're right. Like, let's restructure stuff here, because you probably have these other debts. I mean, I've been there as a single mom, having all these debts and all these credit cards, and you're buried, and you don't realize that you could, put them all together and pay less money. And
you don't know. You and I are landmark trained.
Yeah.
There's a huge part of our life in that blind spot there where we just don't
Yes.
know what we don't know, or worse, we think we know what we just don't know.
Yes.
And there's options out there. So if
Yeah.
you go to, now I'm going to get on my soapbox. If you go to the bank and you talk to that financial advisor,
Yes.
depending how it's spelled, ADVISER, being ADVISOR, one has a fiduciary responsibility to you. The other person has a fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders, and they're basically a salesperson. And they're not asking the questions. They're going to give you advice that they only know in their world, because that's all they know. So if I go to Ford, they're probably not going to sell me a Chevy. So if I'm going to that bank, they're going to sell me or put me into some type of product that's their product, and it might not be the best product for me. Again, I'm a part of an organization called CIS, which is Canadian Investment Services, which you're involved with as well, where we were like, wow, you know what? We know a lot of the options that are out there that you might not be aware of. There's whole worlds like the exempt market dealers that people don't even know, private financing, private lending, joint ventures, just all kinds of stuff that are options that people aren't even aware of. So anyway, I'm going to jump off my soapboxes now. I get really excited about this, and I got to go. But if people are able to click on that link and dare I say hit $7,000,
let's do it. Let's do it, Ian. We're going to do it.
That would be amazing.
Awesome. Good luck. I'll be thinking about you, and yeah, we'll talk soon.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for having me on, Sandy. Really appreciate it. All right.
Bye.
Love you. Bye now.
Bye. Love you too.